The series Witcher on Netflix, they've just contacted me and asked me if I can make them a couple of flint axes. So let's have a look at that. Well, here's the flint. I reckon we should have something there that can do it. They're after something like this. But on this occasion, they don't want me to put the handle on and they don't want me to polish it. So, what we'll do is we'll make that out of that. It shouldn't be too hard. I just need to get rid of everything that isn't the axe. So we'll start here. Well, there's a few things going on inside this rock, but I reckon it'll be alright. Once you get into a rock, all you need to do is follow it. It's a bit like going from one room to another. Although things like that maybe mean that there won't be anything within the stone. I'll keep that. That's a good piece. So we know over this side we're pretty good. So what we need to do is we need to get underneath the problems that lay here. You will notice that every time I take a flake off, I turn the flint over and I start using the flake scar, which is the new piece of stone that we've never seen before. There's somewhere new to hit. And with this one, we'll find out a little bit more about what's going on in there. Find out how deep it goes. And that's good, look. See that? We got underneath that. Now we'll try and get under him. So we're doing all right. We just still have this little problem. So I'm going to step down a size in hammerstone because that one's getting a bit too big for the situation. And I think that's got us underneath there. So that's that one gone. And just this one left. So basically with flint knapping, what you do, is you spend as much stone as you need to spend getting access to everywhere. And what that means now is that we have a rock that was completely unique in its shape, and by pushing all of them flakes off, what we have is it's become more relative. So the axe can end up being that long, and maybe, you know, we'll be spending all of this, that area there and that area there, to construct the shape. So now I'm going to change the pebble for from a quartzite hammerstone into a granular sort of schisty kind of rock. I don't know what sort of rock it is, but I use them as abraders, a bit like a really coarse sandpaper. Turn it over, and then we go down to the soft hammer, which is a big red deer antler, and we start pushing these little flakes off. They don't cost me that much in the overall size, but what they do is they help me get the thing thinned out. So it's an unusual request. These are going to be made and sent to the company, and then what they're going to do with them is they're going to cast them into a rubber, because they can't use real flint axes in the show. But it's quite nice to be asked by a production company to make something that maybe appears on television or something. As you can see, these flakes are now coming off nicely. And I'm getting control over the edge. I don't want it to become too thin, so that's nicely organised, and that needs organising. The thing about flint knapping is once you have done a bit of it, you know what problems look like, and you become proficient in dealing with them, and you don't worry about what you're taking away, just in case you run out of material or you snap it or something weird like that. You just basically get on with it. It's quite a positive thought structure, because basically you've decided you're doing something, and you don't allow thoughts like you don't allow thoughts into your mind like maybe it won't happen or it'll go wrong if I do that. It's a positive mindset, and if it does go wrong, it doesn't matter anyway, because you just start again. So next month it'll be my birthday, and I'll be 55 years old, and that will mean that I've been actually flint knapping for the sum total of 50 years, ever since my family first moved to Grimes Graves in East Anglia in the UK to become the caretakers of a Neolithic flint mine, where they were mining for flint 4,500 years ago. So I guess one could say I was inspired by the decision that my dad made, my parents made, to become the custodians of Grimes graves. Grimes graves is a funny place because anyone that we happen to know over the years that we lived there was left with something permanent inside them from the experience of actually being part of that landscape. So I've got a lot of flint here, so I can just literally use up some of this stone now. Like that. I need to go across. This wants to be about 4 inches wide, and currently it's about 6. You'll notice that every strike is intended with it's the power and the purpose of what I'm doing is not questioned, and that's quite important. It's very important, because once you start tapping a bit of flint, it doesn't respond in the way you want it to, and you're much more likely to break it in half by tapping it, because what you do is you create vibrations that bounce around and bump into each other. When you're hitting it like this, technically the flint doesn't even know that it's been hit, because there's never been a vibration go through it that didn't have an outcome. So you put the vibration in, and the release of the flake lets the vibration back out. This is coming down nicely. So this is a completely unedited video. No fucking about, just getting on with the job. Of course, if you're watching it and you're enjoying it, I want you to become a subscriber and watch a load more of my videos. And it's quite cool because a lot of people do take the time to comment. In the main, 98% of comments are positive. And nice to read. So that must say something good about what's going on here. Sometimes I get a comment such as, I don't know why you're bothering to do that because we're not in the Stone Age anymore. Well, I do have something to say about that. That it's important to be able to look back and gather details about who we once were. And actually, this has given me a pattern and a footprint in my life, which is something that not only have I enjoyed, but it's given a lot of people a place to come and be and know themselves in a way that they kind of understand. whereas a lot of the time in the modern world they have no idea what the fuck's going on, and bump into issues like mental health and all that sort of stuff. I think I've got mental health issues, but there's something else going on as well. So at the beginning of January, I decided I wanted a log cabin. So what did I do? I went and built a log cabin. Decided I needed a kitchen. So what did I do? I went and built a kitchen. How did I know how to do it? I didn't. But I knew what shape I wanted. I knew how big I wanted it. And I knew I needed to start from the ground and work upwards. And that's all I did. And there wasn't a second in that I thought, there wasn't a second of that time that I doubted myself and thought that I'm going to need to get an expert in. Just go on with it. The drawings were in my head. In fact, it was worse than that actually, because once the idea entered my head, that's all I thought about. Literally, I'd be having conversations with people, but I was only 50% of me was there. The rest of me was clambering around inside my head, building my cabin, building my kitchen, and looking forward to enjoying it, which is what I'm doing now. I even went and got myself a dog, young Pitch. I wanted a border terrier for well, I wanted a border terrier ever since I met one, which was about 10 years ago. So it took a little bit longer to bring that into to manifest that. But he is an adorable little thing, and really keeping me company. Well, I'm assuming that this is going to be a weapon of war rather than for chopping tree down, particularly since they're going to cast from this and turn it into a rubber axe. I guess that'll do then. Hope you'll excuse me for waffling on while I work, but gives us something else to think about. Would that take me 20 minutes? Off to The Witcher, Netflix.